The guns go quiet, but the South is still smoldering. Ruins stretch for miles, and everyone asks, what now? 4 million freed people step into hunger and hope at once. Freedom arrives, but land and money stay out of reach. Old elites regroup, searching for ways to keep control. America faces a choice: rebuild justice or rush reunion. Lincoln dreamed of healing without betraying a victory. Then a bullet cuts him down. The plan collapses overnight. The nation mourns while fear and rage fight for the future. Andrew Johnson takes power, promising mercy to the South. He hands out quick pardons and demands almost no change. Southern leaders read that mercy as permission to resist. Black codes appear, new cages built for old control again. They squeeze life through law, movement, work, testimony. Even being jobless becomes a crime, a trap for the poor. Behind that crime waits prison labor wearing a legal mask. Slavery is banned, yet coercion just changes shape and stays. News reaches Washington, and outrage spreads through Congress. Lawmakers say, without enforcement, freedom is only ink. A new war begins, fought with ballots, courts, and troops. The Freedmen's Bureau forms to feed, heal, and teach the freed. Schools rise from ashes. Reading becomes a weapon of dignity. To former masters, every classroom feels like open rebellion, because literacy leads to votes, and votes lead to power. Radical Republicans demand guarantees written into law at last. They refuse to trust Southern promises or polite apologies. Johnson blocks reform. The White House becomes a barrier now. The clash grows fierce enough to make the Constitution tremble. Congress strikes back. The 14th Amendment makes citizenship real. Equal protection enters the text and threatens the old order. Now states can't openly strip rights without defying the nation. Johnson fights back hard. Impeachment storms through Washington. He survives removal by just one vote. America holds its breath, but Congress keeps power, and Reconstruction hardens like steel. The South is divided into military districts watched closely. The 15th Amendment follows. Black men gain the vote at last. Lines form at polling places. History shifts in plain sight. New voters pick new leaders, and hope feels tangible at once. Black officials enter government, something once unthinkable. Hiram Revels wins a Senate seat, shocking the old world today. For a moment, it seems the country is being rebuilt fairly. But many white Southerners feel defeat turning into shame now. Shame hardens into rage, and rage searches for targets fast. Night riders appear with masks, moving like a secret army. The Ku Klux Klan rises, turning terror into political strategy. They attack voters first because ballots threaten dominance. Every frightened citizen becomes a victory for restored power. Democracy suffocates when people fear to leave home at night. Washington writes new laws, but violence moves faster still. Ulysses Grant becomes president and vows to hold the line firm. Federal troops enter towns where local justice looks away. Arrests follow. For a while, fear retreats into the shadows. Schools expand, institutions grow, and the future flickers ahead. Yet everything depends on Northern will to keep paying the cost. That will thins as years pass and the headlines change fast. People ask why they must bleed and spend for the South again. Scandals and corruption slowly weaken faith in Grant's government. Then 1873 hits hard. Markets crash, and survival crowds ideals. When your own house burns, distant injustice feels far away. The North looks away, not from hate, but from exhaustion now. The South senses weakness, reclaiming power county by county. When elections fail them, intimidation finishes the job. Rights stay on paper, while daily life turns dangerous again. Troops are called too expensive. Protection fades away fast. Politicians search for an exit that looks calm and pragmatic. The exit appears in darkness, a backroom bargain, nothing more. 1876 arrives. The election result is disputed and explosive. Hayes versus Tilden, numbers, accusations, chaos erupts. No one wants another civil war over ballots and counting now. So leaders trade justice for quiet and call it compromise. The compromise of 1877 hands Hayes the presidency at last. The price is troops withdrawn. The pillar holding it up breaks. Protection disappears faster than the deal's ink can dry out. Where soldiers leave, local rules rush back into place fast. Reconstruction ends on paper, but its wounds stay open still. Jim Crow begins, inequality now dressed as lawful order again. Segregation spreads, humiliation returns, borders harden fast. Democracy isn't banned, it's simply shut off in the South now. Those who just gained a voice are pushed back into silence, and the North tells itself, at least the country is stable. The scariest thing isn't defeat, it's peace with injustice. Reconstruction proves rights without force are just stage props. States rewrote their laws to control the ballot box again. Voting now required money that most people couldn't pay. The story doesn't end. It turns into a darker chapter instead. Debt tied families to land they would never actually own. That marathon starts here, in the ashes and promises of 1865. Each step forward triggers a step back, often by violence still. Yet one thing can't be undone. The Constitution is changed now. The 14th and 15th Amendments wait for their hour, still ahead. Reconstruction ends not with triumph, but with slow retreat. Federal protection fades from Southern streets for good now. Local power quietly reclaims its authority over daily life. Promises remain written down, but not enforced anymore. New laws reshape daily life across the South completely. Economic hardship replaces political change in priorities. Segregation becomes structured and normalized all over again. The Constitution remains changed, but contested still today. The struggle for equality stretches far beyond this era alone. Reconstruction reshaped America, but left it deeply divided still.